anyone listen to this podcast, and if they say they haven't, they are an absolute liar, or they haven't ran long enough, has at one stage in their squatted in a field during a long run,
Yeah.
as you put it, as needed to go. It has happened. It has happened to me. One of the things you talked about that would be a lot of people talk about for, I suppose, not weight loss, but just having good diets and these different types of advice. And I've been guilty of this because it's an easy thing to do is overnight oats. But you reckon that's not good for before a long run. And obviously, your bran flakes or stuff high in fiber will be an issue as well. So what do you think it just needs to be higher carbs and stuff for morning of long runs, or what way would you advise people?
I get so much fucking shit for saying this as a diet. Evil, actually. Low fiber, higher carb makes way more sense to minimize risk of gut issues. Depends on the person. Some people say they're grand. People have different gastric emptying rates. Like, it's individual how long it takes to digest food. Fibrous dishes can be a few hours. Like a big bowl of porridge with like raisins and seeds in it can take a few hours to digest. So if you're only leaving like an hour and a half to 2 hours, you might be training fasted technically because you haven't absorbed it. What I would generally recommend are things like Cocoa Pops, Rice Krispies, bagels, pancakes.
Chicken and rice. No.
Well, definitely fine. Chicken is fine. Not too oily. 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you could do that for sure. It's a good shortcut is beige and bland, white, like a shade of beige or white, and no
Okay.
fat. If you follow that, it's impossible to screw that up.
Chicken is white, I suppose. I cannot believe all the
Sean,
weeks that I'm actually sick over that. But
you've been giving me
anyway,
some amount of abuse for eating chicken and rice 2 hours before races, but it works for
No,
me. It works for me, and everyone is different.
yeah, you're on the ball there. Do you add veggies to it though? That's the question I have. Is it a stir?
Sometimes there'll be peppers, red pepper. That'll
Okay.
it's
be it.
whatever's from the Chinese from the night before. He gets a big
It's
portion.
not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. The
Um,
curry sauce just fell into it. I just don't know how it got
You're definitely button and fields.
there.
I have a very, very long-winded question.
Okay.
So I back in the day, like good 10, 12 years ago, I did fitness instruction. And with that comes the nutrition. I don't even want to say module in front of you because I think most personal trainers barely touch on nutrition and they shouldn't be doing it. I'm not just saying it because you're here, but it's like very basic stuff and move on. But there was an interview process and there was like three of us there. And one of the questions was, how many meals should you have per day? And the girl, she answered, 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is grand. And I knew the answer they were looking for was wrong because they wanted the answer to be 6 meals a day to stoke the metabolic flame or whatever the furnace for the body and all that stuff was the answer. But then further down, it was like, no, no, no. You just need 3 meals a day. If it fits your macros, that's all that matters throughout the course of the day, and that's it. And then the anabolic window came in as like you need to have protein 30 minutes before after a session, and then later on it came, well, that's not the case. And then I was like, okay, I think I have this now. As long as you have your food anywhere throughout 24 hours, you're good. And then I watched your reel. I'm like, fuck, I got it wrong again. It's you have to have your carb timing a certain minute, not a certain amount of time. That's paraphrasing, but you talk about not having such long periods of having no food throughout the day. Like I'm up at 6 in the morning, like I'm up earlier most mornings for work, and I probably work late at night just because middle of the day, personal training, all the rest is just the way it is. That job, and it'd be a good 6-7 hours sometimes before I try to have food. Lately, because of all the training, I just need to have something in because I just feel I'm hungry all the time.